My wife is crying because she doesn't want none of our kids and she is pregnant with our third baby.
Baby.
What you don't want the baby for?
I can't do this. I already got 2 kids. I can't. I barely even want those 2 kids.
The role that this man plays in this woman's lamentation of being pregnant with a third after already having 2. I'm beginning to wonder with the position of the camera if he was even given license to record this. Oh God.
It's a foreign man in a foreign land.
While this is good that we're able to have these conversations, I have mixed feelings about it. Children will find these. They will be able to find these accounts of their parents saying that they don't want them. It's great that we're able to have these conversations, especially for people that were thinking about being parents. However, could you imagine being on the playground with your friends them and then your friend be all like, your ma didn't even want you? Oh God. Homie Ma just posted on Twitter that she wished that she swallowed him.
This baby.
What you don't want the baby for?
I can't do this. I already got 2 kids. I can't. I barely even want those 2 kids.
But you told me to do it and I did it.
In my experience, things that would have been minor to my wife while she was pregnant were cataclysmic. I remember her coming to tears over the predictability of living. My mug is always here first thing in the morning because I pour coffee into it and it's not there today. That brought her to tears. That's when I realized, as much as I don't like to bio-essentialize, hormones do not play. They definitely can change a person's chemistry. I wouldn't be surprised if that's what she's going through right here. And dog is making content out of that. My child is the sweetest kid. I want to show you all so many pictures. I put this thing on a swing for the first time yesterday, and he swung forward and backwards. And as he swung forward, he said, Dada. I'm crying. I love my son in ways that I have not been able to describe. You don't see me making content out of my kid. When you point a camera at your wife and child, when you point a camera at them and turn them into content, that is about you. That ain't about memorializing the moment. It's not about celebrating them. That is about you. It is about what that says about you. I have this beautiful family. Look at me. What is happening here when this dude is secretly recording his wife while she is having what seems to me, might not be necessarily, but what seems to me is a hormone-induced crash out.
This baby.
What you don't want the baby for?
I can't do this. I already got 2 kids. I can't. I barely even want those 2 kids.
But you told me to do it and I did it.
You're talking out of the ordinary right now. I don't want these kids. I don't want none of these kids.
She even marks the fact that she is saying this out of the norm.
You're talking out of the ordinary right now.
She has more awareness of this.
I don't want these kids. I don't want none of these kids.
Yes, you do. Stop eyeing up, bro.
I don't want none of these kids.
What you gonna do then? Cause we not getting up. We not doing our abortion thing, bro. That's not
It's
what
not
we
even
doing.
about getting an abortion. It's about me not wanting to be a mom no more.
One, you shouldn't be having this conversation in front of the crotch camera. Who exactly came to the decision that abortion was off the table? It's her choice. The conversation as it pertains to your input is how best do I support my partner? When someone has a child for you, they are risking their lives. Especially black women. The maternal mortality rate of black women will shock you if you don't already know. Black mothers, when in labor, often are disregarded when they cry out in clamor to their doctors that they need more this, more that. I'm in pain, this is hurting. To anybody that wanna have a kid, if you go on hospital shopping, when you talk to these doctors, make sure first that you could talk to these doctors. If you can't talk to these doctors, if you can't find them or this doctor never in, find another place. You having a child and they can't make a couple minutes to see you, just pack it up. I think of all of that when I think of this.
I don't want to be a mom
For
at
what?
all.
What made you not want to be a mom no more? Because the baby's always crying? You gotta wake up.
It's too much. It's too much for me. You sitting here.
You doing the most for what, bro? You over here choking and stuff for what? All because some kids, bro, that you sat down and had?
My lord, it's very obvious that he is not supportive in the slightest. He is infantilizing her. He is minimizing what she's going through.
You do want to do it.
That's strong enough.
Yes, you is. Stop crying. Just stop crying, bro.
I haven't heard many times like where a nigga could find the way to say everything wrong. The woman say, I'm not strong enough. And you could say, yes, you are. Who need a bigoted doctor when you exist?
Please stop crying.
Body looks horrible.
What exactly are the parents regretting when they have parental regret? That's what I want to investigate today. I think that like a lot of parents aren't necessarily intentional with the idea of having kids or the concept of having kids. A lot of parents, I think, do this for the plot. They feel as though like it was destined, like it's factual. I get that because for like a long time it was.
So I get a call today, right, from one of my good friends, and her daughter is going back and forth with each other. Like it's a whole confrontation. Embarrassing as mind you, I'm at my place of business. I don't need to hear all that. So it got really intense. So I'm still confused. I keep saying, what's going on? What's going on? She's like, you better come get this little right now. So I'm like, what the is going on over there?
Oh, the person recording is not the mother. Her friend is a bad mom and she's about to go off on her for basically picking a man over a child.
Why is you calling this girl out her name? So she gonna say she accused my boyfriend of sexually harassing her. I'm like, what? You need to be putting hands on him, calling the police, doing something. So she said she came on to my man. So I'm like, what? Wait a minute, that's your daughter.
Children can't seduce adults. That's an adult capability. If a little girl goes missing and they put out all the Amber Alerts, often the chatter is, she too grown, she too fast. The boyfriend be a whole man. A whole man, bro. Your boyfriend is susceptible to being seduced by a child. Black little girls, they are immediately adultified. From you a black little girl, you already aged up, like you get about 5 years. Society needs to adultify these black girls. These little black girls be having a lot of adult responsibilities. You need to write a story that allows a black girl to do adult things. Little black girls are taught to be deputy moms. And the sad thing is, as we're seeing here, some women fall victim to this internalized patriarchy and internalized misogyny, and they side with the man.
That is your daughter. She said, I don't give a f. And she started arguing with me. We going back and forth. Cause I'm like, damn, that's your daughter. I told her that is the same man that you met off of Tinder 30 days ago.
Women them get hate to hear about this, but a lot of y'all too man-centric. Oh God. Sometimes you don't even be getting the dick yet. Just the prospect of the dick, you write your whole child off. I don't blame the woman them to the extent because we have created it in such a way where the best thing that you could do, or more importantly, what you're supposed to do as a woman. And in order to be woman, because yet again, black women won't always consider this woman. So black women really be trying to be woman, perform woman, to get everything that femininity is supposed to get. And what that looks like a lot of the time is excusing the wildness of behavior simply for proximity to the man them. The only way to matter is have a man. Only thing of value that you could do is to offer your life to the man them by having their children, by cooking and cleaning, by opening leg them.
I had to come and get her daughter. But yet I still had to go back and forth with her mother when I got there. I had to put her daughter in the Airbnb. I had to put in the Airbnb for a moment. I felt so bad for her that her mother chose this man over her.
That mom that she's making reference to is not equipped to be a mom, probably did not want to be a mom. She obviously wants to be her child. She wants to run around with a man that she met 30 days ago and be free of the responsibility like a child. And you gotta hate your child if you're putting your child in danger when you are fully dependent upon them for survival and safety. You could tell that a parent is regretful without them coming online and showing that they are by the way that they parent.
Welcome back to my series where I read messages from regretful parents. I did receive this as a direct message and I do have permission to share it here on TikTok. I was always on the fence about whether or not I wanted children. I knew it was not something I needed in the way that some people do. But coming from a big family and marrying into another, it was something that was expected of me. I was always told that my indifference to children was simply because they weren't mine. And once I had my own kids, I'd see that any fears or hesitations I had were unfounded. I was always told it was something I'd get over. About 2 years after we got married, my husband and I started trying to get pregnant. It didn't happen easily and wound up turning into years of fertility treatments and 2 miscarriages. I told my husband that if what we were trying didn't work, I was not willing to put myself through IVF. Instead of supporting my decision, he would dismissively say, "We'll see."
We keep on running into these dudes that have like a very shallow reservoir of empathy for their partners who are carrying children. He dismissively just wrote it off.
Not willing to put myself through IVF. Instead of supporting my decision, he would dismissively say, "We'll see," and implied that it was a deal breaker if I didn't do everything humanly possible to see this through.
That's wild to me, bro. If it's a deal breaker, then fine, but you need to say that, like, how is this not talked about? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, there's like a lack of a conversation and a discourse and intentionally having children, intentionally bringing children into the world against their own will.
Truth be told, I was worried about getting pregnant for a lot of reasons. One, because my husband was such a workaholic.
And I say this as a workaholic myself. We be doing that so that we don't have to engage with our emotion. We could regulate work. It's something that is venerated and encouraged for men especially to work hard. So it's very easy for men to slip into this idea of working, all under the guise as I'm doing it for my family or I'm doing it because I need to. And yeah, you're right. Like to an extent, like you need to work. But after a particular point, are you working or are you running? This is very cishet. We work so hard to be the type of man that is valuable to the women that we want. And then when we get access and proximity, the woman turn around and tell you that I want to leave you because you're never around. We're mad at the wrong thing. Capitalism is preventing you from actually being able to be home. The fact that like you have to work a ridiculous amount of hours just to get the bare minimum, and then you're too tired to play with your child because you got to go and wake up again at 6 o'clock in the morning to do it. I would be mad more so at the boss.
I worried that he'd prioritize his job over his family. I made it clear that I wanted our kids to have an actual father, unlike his, who thought that providing a paycheck and doing absolutely nothing else counted as being a good father. We had several conversations about my expectations of him as a parent, especially because I was so unsure of how much I actually wanted to be one. But he insisted he did, and 2 weeks after we accepted an out-of-state relocation for his job, I found out I was pregnant. We moved just weeks before I gave birth to our son, and as if a relocation at 8 months pregnant wasn't stressful enough, the company I worked for went back on their promise to let me stay on as a remote worker. They let me work right up until my due date, and then locked me out of the system, telling me to contact them if and when you find daycare, despite knowing that daycare had never been part of my plan. And even if it had, they'd just taken away my means to pay for it. I had horrific PPD, and to this day, I have never felt worse. My son was a miserable baby with terrible colic and acid reflux. He slept only in 1-hour stretches and cried the rest of the time. My thyroid was out of whack, but no one wanted to see me before the 6-week mark, so I dropped down to 96 pounds and couldn't make enough breast milk. I also had a pinched nerve in my back that made walking painful, wasn't sleeping, could barely find time to eat, and the worst part was I was 100% alone. My husband got 2 weeks of paternity leave, and that was it. He went back to work as if I wasn't a shell of myself, being terrorized by my hormones and an endlessly crying baby. He was awful to me to boot.
There's failure all around. A capitalist society. And then you have patriarchy that emotionally sterilizes the man. Can we talk about how black women will romanticize how white women get treated in marriages as if patriarchy doesn't look at everybody over? Black women have been taught that they are not women. They understand femininity to be equated with white women. That's how you get soft girl era. That's how you get black girl luxury. That's how you get old money aesthetic and all these other things. They see that and they're saying, look, I need to be that. Because that is a woman. Black women want to be women. And in order for them to be women, they need black men to be men. And the problem is that it was never designed for either of them. So we're trying to fit into shapes that we weren't supposed to in the first place. And we're mad horizontally at each other. Black women are mad at black men because the black woman says that I would be woman if you were man. The black woman says that if I didn't have to work this groveling job where I'm debased, where I'm taken away from my child, where I have to be in proximity to people that don't respect me, a white boss maybe that lecherously preys upon me, white co-workers that other me, I, the black woman, have to be subjected to a hard life But if you, the black man, were to make me soft, have me out of my masculinity, sit me down somewhere where I have to just be a housewife. If I could be that, then I could be woman. I could be soft. I wouldn't have to be aggressive. I wouldn't have to fight for myself, advocate for myself in order just to survive. I am this way because of you, black man. And a black man, on average, unfortunately, we don't have the language nor the security in our own masculinity. So we end up being mad at her for not submitting. And then we said, I would be a man if you would let me by submitting. So black woman, I need you to submit. It all went wrong when black women became feminists. If you would just submit and stop talking back and stop going to college and stop doing all of these other things that give you autonomy, that give you independence, that makes you not dependent upon me, then I could be a man. And both of us in this vicious cycle don't realize we have a vertical fight that we are totally ignoring because it's easier to punch laterally. It's easier to punch horizontally. It's hard to reach up. We got skinny fists and we reaching for the sky and we can't. So it's easier just to fight each other.
A content, happy mother. A mother who may say, you know, motherhood is hard and it has its challenges, but I love being a mother. And, you know, they are okay with or content with their choice. Their response is typically going to be, hey, you know, motherhood is not for everybody. If you know you don't want kids, don't have them. You know, you got to be sure, you got to make sure you pick the right person. It can be tough. They'll have like this, like sort of aura of support and supporting you in with you knowing who you are and what you want. A mother who regrets motherhood, and in my opinion, this is over half of them, this is just my own personal opinion, their responses are going to be a bunch of condescending questions. What's wrong with kids? Or any woman over a certain age that don't have kids, I don't trust just like that.
I've heard this so many times. I've heard it in reverse too. A woman at a particular age with no kids is a red flag. I have heard this before. I've also heard this about niggas. If you over 33, 34, if you a man, you ain't got no gal, this is get again cis head convo right now. You ain't got no kids? They say that's a big red flag. They say that mean that your cock ain't working. Oh God. I've heard this. They really do be out here womb watching cheesing. If you see like some of the gal them getting into conversations and they getting into fights in the Caribbean, the first thing that come out their mouth is, well, at least I could keep my man. The second thing that come out of the gal them mouth when they fighting is, oh, that's why you barring now. Oh God. They quick to call your bread big. That's the next thing. They always talking about your bread big. Big vagina gal. You ain't never heard, look, you have never lived until a old Jamaican woman too, with a swinging arm, turn around and tell you to get your big hole out of her place. The arguments, like woman to woman, is often things that are very man-centric. So I've heard what she's talking about before.
What's wrong with kids? Or any woman over a certain age that don't have kids, I don't trust like that. Or your cooch must be trash, or you're probably infertile, or you don't have a purpose, like you're not even a real woman. You're trying to escape responsibility. Who do you think? You're better than everybody else? They'll have that sort of like vibe about them. I instantly know that those types of mothers, number one, regret motherhood, and number two, are insanely jealous.
It's a self-report about what they think their role in life is. They make that commentary upon them. They're basically saying that, oh, you're selfish. It's because they believe that their role is to be a vessel. Oh God. A vessel for new life. They're a portal. They're the ether. They're the never portal. And more, like, as I engage with it, this regret of children, you begin to see that, like, it's a lot of factors surrounding it. The tangential factors surrounding having children, creating a very inimical environment to not only the children, but, like, the people having children themselves. As a father myself, I grappled a lot with the ethics of bringing a child into this world. When you consider the carrying capacity, global warming, dwindling economy, and let's not even get into growing up in an anti-black society, there are definitely arguments against subjecting children to this. And there's a duality of being progressive while still operating in a patriarchal society. An extension of this is the institution of marriage itself. Before my wife and I got married, I thought a lot about how simply fulfilling these roles like husband and eventually father, you eventually begin to reflect the very institutions you claim to want to tear down. I made a whole video delving into the question, can marriage be divorced from patriarchy, where my talented guest Regretful as well as the boys from Waving the Red Flag podcast detail the nuance of fighting oppressive systems whilst upholding them. It's one of my favorite videos as it gets into how heteronormative our society is and how the world is designed to be hostile towards single women especially. But before you go looking for that on my channel, this video is exclusive to my streaming service, Nebula. You can get my videos ad-free, early, and extended on Nebula, as well as exclusive videos from thoughtful creators like PhilosophyTube and Joe Scott. Because Nebula is home to our prestigious pieces you won't find anywhere else. Like Jetlag, a travel game show where the Wendover crew and a bunch of your favorite creators like Tom Scott race around the world trying to catch each other. There's also cards that make it hard or easy for each team to proceed depending on what they get. It's a Webby-nominated game show that you could binge watch right now. Nebula is filled with exclusive shows just like these that won't work on other platforms. And you could gain access to Nebula for as low as $6 a month or $60 per year. But with my code, nebula.tv/foreignfridays, you get a 40% discount, thus bringing it down to $36 a year. You can also get Nebula for life for $300, which goes directly to creators making bigger and better projects that you would have a hand in directly supporting. You can also give the gift that keeps on giving with Nebula gift cards. But most of all, you get to support us making the work you love and elevating it to prestigious pieces of art. So if you want to support the future filmmakers, documentarians, and storytellers of society, then sign up for Nebula using my code nebula.tv/foreignfridays.